Arthur C. Clarke once said, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and in many ways the life he lived and the world he foresaw carry some of that magic, even half a century after he first made his predictions." In 1964, Clarke sat in front of a television camera and tried to describe the city of the day after tomorrow, projecting his vision out toward the year 2000.
"I think it will be completely different."
And then, with the clarity of a mind untethered from convention, he explained,
"It may not even exist at all."
Clarke wasn't talking about nuclear apocalypse, as so many fixated on in those days. Instead, he glimpsed the coming revolution in communication. He cited the transistor and, above all, the communication satellite, innovations barely visible in the public's everyday life at the time. With these advances, Clarke imagined a world where we could interact instantly, where distance would become irrelevant for communication, even for work.
It will be possible in that age, perhaps only 50 years from now, for a man to conduct his business from Tahiti or Bali just as well as he could from London. Almost any executive skill, any administrative skill, even any physical skill could be made independent of distance.
He wasn't content to leave the fantasy there. He speculated, perfectly seriously, that one day a brain surgeon in Edinburgh could operate on a patient in New Zealand. The city, as a place for people to congregate and work, he mused, might lose its very reason for being. Commuting would be replaced by communicating.
They won't have to travel for business anymore. They'll only travel for pleasure. I only hope that when that day comes and when the city is abolished, the whole world isn't turned into one giant suburb.
Today, we live in a world where Clarke's vision is, in many respects, reality. Internet-connected devices allow us to work, to study, to socialize, and to heal across continents. Surgeries are performed remotely. Business is conducted from beaches as freely as from boardrooms. Talent, once tethered to city centers, can now exist anywhere there is a connection. But while Clarke imagined this global web from a scientific perspective, and while its technical realization owes much to the satellites he championed, his own life trajectory offers another kind of insight. Far from the metropolises of London or New York, Clarke settled on the island of Sri Lanka. When asked why, he would smile and answer,
30 British winters.
But there was more. He had come drawn by an intense fascination with underwater exploration, enchanted by the mystery and beauty of a country perched between ancient history and tropical splendor. Clarke described his first year in Sri Lanka as a revelation, and among the places that most intrigued him was Sigiriya, the Lion Rock. Rising some 600 feet out of the jungle, this ancient fortress captured Clarke's imagination as few places could. A palace perched atop a stone monolith, encircled by a moat and elaborate gardens. Its construction was the product of ambition, genius, madness, and tragedy. A king who seized the throne after murdering his father, a brother in exile who returned to reclaim what was lost, and after a climactic battle, a citadel abandoned to the encroaching jungle. For centuries, Sigiriya remained lost, its secrets whispered only by birds and winds among its ruins. Clarke marveled at how such relics, scarred by history yet uniquely adapted to their landscape, could embody both the enduring and the ephemeral. He often drew parallels between ancient feats of engineering and the futures he envisioned, stone and mortar replaced by signals and code, but a kindred spirit animating both. Here in Sri Lanka, Clarke found a paradox. He had retreated to what many saw as remote, but he positioned himself at the heart of what the future would bring, a globally connected world where remoteness could become choice, not exile. As he wrote and spoke, Clarke watched this transformation unfold around him. Even on this island, technology crept in. The internet came to Sri Lanka, first as a curiosity in cyber cafes, then as a lifeline during conflict, and finally, inexorably, into the palms of millions through mobile phones. The barriers he foresaw tumbled. Today, the internet is woven into daily life in Sri Lanka in ways both subtle and profound. Students in Jaffna study lectures streamed from Colombo. Entrepreneurs in Gale manage clients from Paris. Families separated by oceans share laughter over video calls. The city may not be abolished, well, not yet, but its gravitational pull has waned. As Clarke predicted, people travel less for work and more for other reasons, for love, opportunity, adventure, or, like him, for wonder. Arthur C. Clarke's adopted country embodies both the world that was and the world to come. It is a place of ancient rock fortresses and bustling fiber optic networks, a meeting point of tides, both literal and technological. And as we peer further into the future, perhaps toward new leaps in artificial intelligence, ever faster networks, and ever mightier satellites, it is worth remembering that 70 years ago, on a tropical island far from the centers of power, one man looked out beyond the horizon and saw, with startling clarity, not only where the world was, but where it would be.